Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is live, and this is another the following up coverage, a quick update, but I know that live stream tends to be not very quick, so this is the update for the Great Balakliya Offensive, the Ukrainian Great Balakliya Offensive. So the Balakliya Offensive continues today, and I'm here to update you on the latest information that is happening over the past perhaps 24 hours. And so as I'm going to be reporting, I will not be able to look at the chat. So if you want to ask question or something, please use the super chat. If not, your chatters, I will probably miss it because I will not be looking there. So let's move on to the Balakliya Front. So this is Ukraine. For those that are not familiar with the geography, this is Ukraine. This pink area are the areas that Russia have captured, and Balakliya is actually this city around here. So it's actually within the Kherson, the Kharkiv Oblast, right in the middle of Kharkiv Oblast, in fact. And as such, you can also imagine it is pretty important in terms of a hub, communications hub or transport hub, because it's right in the middle. And it's here. So this blue blob here is the what I call the Ukrainian Balakliya West Force. No, actually not West Force, Balakliya Force. So this is the Balakliya Front. This entire area here is the Balakliya Front. And yesterday we have reported that the Ukrainians have launched an attack on Balakliya, and in that process, as they counter resistance, their forces immediately flow northward, captured Yakovenkovy. This is actually happened on the 6th, and on the 7th, they continue the attack, realizing that the Russian defenses in this area is very weak, and they just blitz across the entire area here, and they have captured multiple settlements, and they just going to blitz past, and they are going to hit for Shevchenkovy, which is an important transport hub as well. I believe there is a railway line here. Yeah, there's a railway line there. So, and this will set them on a good path to head towards Kupiansk, which is the important resupply and communication and transport hub for the Russians' war effort in the Izium front. So the advance is extremely fast, and the Russians are caught off guard, and the reinforcement only came in time to actually defend at the Semenivka region. And yesterday I have mentioned that the Russians have this salience here, this bulge here, and I mentioned also that the forces here is going to feel very nervy, and if they hear of this news, they are unlikely to be able to stay in their position in a very calm manner. So as my prediction went correctly, there's a massive withdrawal of the Russian forces south of Koroboshkaine. Koroboshkaine has been one of the front lines where the Russians kept the Ukrainians at bay. The Ukrainians are unable to do much. The Stara Hanilitsia is kind of like a gray zone. Sometimes it's Russian, sometimes Ukrainian. It's not so clear. But this area at Kharkov, Zalishne, Nova Hanilitsia, all these regions are all Russian controlled, and they have withdrawn to, as of now, the Chakalovsky Semenivka line. So this area here, this line here, is currently tentatively seems to be the line that the Russians has fall back to. So so this is reported by AZ Military 11. They actually drew the map, and they actually also did mention that the Russian army have completely withdrawn from the Chakhlov salient. So they have moved backwards. But the problem with that mapping is that the way how they drew the arrow even further back. So I'm not sure if the Russian lines will actually stop here, or they will actually withdraw even further to somewhere closer to Shevchenkove, because ultimately this is still rather dangerous. As I mentioned yesterday, that the Ukrainian forces would probably able to attack from Vasilievkove to Hetmanivka to Tedyanivka towards Shevchenkove. So this remains to be one of these very dangerous situation for the Russian forces, which is why they might not hold this position should Semenivka falls. And there is information coming out from today, 8th of September, although this is already yesterday for me because it's already past midnight in Singapore. But in today, the information is that the fighting in Shevchenko district continues, which I believe is likely to be talking about the entire area here. But in terms of the mappings, I saw a few maps. They seem to suggest the fighting to be around here. So there is Russian defenses at Semenivka. So this is as well reported in yesterday's update, that the Russian forces have sent a reinforcement to Semenivka. And however, the Ukrainian forces, as per what they have done at Balakliya, they only put part of the forces to stay here to fight, and then the rest of the forces swing northward, and they actually continues across the open farmlands in the direction of Shevchenkove. There is probably fighting in this region as the Russians are trying to stop them, and this looks pretty bad for the Russian forces, which means that there is a high chance that even this line might seem untenable. The Russian forces here might actually withdraw all the way to a more defendable line, probably at how do you pronounce this, Getmanivka or Hetmanivka, Tyanivka, and some all the way to the Samske. So probably this line here, probably this is a more defendable line, because the front line will be a lot shorter, because at this moment the front line is too long. If you can measure the front line from this river here, this is 27 kilometers long, and this means they need a lot of manpower, and based on the reports coming out, the Russians don't seem to have that much regular forces in this area. In fact, the front line was previously held by police and guard forces, which means maybe the guard forces is probably more like those border guards kind of forces. It's not really the regular forces, which is why they need to call in reinforcement to help out to fight. Most of them are more like police, SWAT teams kind of thing. So it's looking rather bad. So if they push down to this Hetmanivka Samske line, at least the front line will be at least just around 10-11 kilometers, something shorter. Of course, we are not yet talking about all these open areas here that the Ukrainians can pull through. And in yesterday's update, I mentioned that Balakliya has not been captured. After posting it, some of the DPA viewers has informed me that there is video coming out from Balakliya. So there is confirmation, in fact, is geolocated, that of the Ukrainians inside the town, and they are pretty relaxed in the town. So that means the Russian forces have already withdrawn from this position here. So which means that this entire area here, this entire open space with no settlement, is a question mark. Is there any settlements here? There is, but they are without names. So So this entire big area is a question mark. Where is the Ukrainian forces? We do not know. Having this Balakliya means that the Russian forces is able to cross the river, because there is a river here. This the Seredina Balakliya river. Seredina Balakliya river. So they are able to cross the river here, and by crossing the river, the entire dependence of the Russian defenses to use the river as the natural barrier has collapsed, which means that the Ukrainians can now flow through Volokivka and actually punch all the way to Vishneva. So they can rush through the highway down to Vishneva, and in fact they can even rush all the way down to Vasily, and then they can then effectively encircle the entire force that is still remaining in this region from Balakliya all the way to Savinsky. Yeah. So there is in terms of Ryba, I think it's Ryba, if I'm not sure, I think it's Ryba. They did mention that the Russians might need to fall back to this Veshneva Savinsky line. They're talking about this line here. Personally, I think even this line is not tenable. Should the Ukrainians be unimpeded in this area, they will be able to rush straight down this road to Veshneva, and that will make defending this area extremely difficult. Not to mention, this is a very open ground, which means even if they set up a defense line in this area facing the road, the Ukrainians can just ignore it and then just go through the wilderness here. Actually, it's farmland. Through the rear, and the defenses here will be like, oh my freaking god! Then they will have to be redeployed, and then they will become a weak spot. And we do not know, maybe the Ukrainians can cross the river here because the Russians are so distracted, and they actually can hit Vasily directly without taking Savinsky, which is actually a better solution, because you do not want to fight urban warfare as much as you can. You want to cut off their defense route, make them freak out, and make them retreat and evacuate the city on their own, much like what the Russians has did against Lysychansk and Severodonetsk. So don't know why my nose is so itchy. So there is a lot of weak spots in the Russian lines, and the Vasily is currently one of the very critical ones that might fall. Balakliya is already in critical situation because the Ukrainians have raised the flag on the city council building over here. So yeah, here over here. So which means that as per reports, the Ukrainians have taken the western part of Balakliya. So this front line here, just take it with a pinch of salt, because we do not have the street to street where are the forces, but the video that's showing them around this region they are very relaxed. So which means that the Russian forces is likely to be at least 500 to 1 kilometer away. So making that the Russian forces will be quite far away. And there is also reports about, and also videos about, how the Ukrainians have a different form of warfare in this front and the Balakliya front as compared to the Kherson front. So at the Kherson offensive, the Ukrainians basically go frontal assault with their tanks, armored vehicles, and infantry, just go frontal assault. So that is easier to defend in the sense. So I'm not sure how they see it differently, but they say that the Balakliya area, they do things differently. They use very heavy artillery against the front line. They push, and then they actually have smaller forces running around the rear to attack the rear of the Russian positions. So something like this. Maybe I read it wrongly, maybe I remember it wrongly. But they say that it is reminiscent of the US better tactics in Syria. So where they have mobile troops moving around, small groups of mobile troops moving around to attack the enemy. So that is something that is happening. So but I think the main problem is not the tactics, it's more of the situation where the Russians don't have enough forces and appropriate forces here to fight against the enemy. The reportedly Balakliya, before the reinforcement, the troops that is fighting against the Ukrainians in the first line, they are actually all mainly police forces, and I think there's also some rumors about a SWAT team being and surrounded, that sort of things. So they are all security forces. They are not really military forces. The reinforcement that came after is the military forces that come to help out. But in my opinion, it's unlikely that they will be able to hold Balakliya, for a very long time. They'll probably have to withdraw, and they have to withdraw pretty quickly. There's only one route here, through this road up to Boshivka, which then they will go up to this highway here, which is already in a threatening range from the Ukrainian forces at Volokivka. And the Ukrainian forces probably are building a stronghold here now, pushing in a reinforcement and trying to prepare for a new offensive down this road. As far as I can tell, the main force here is still trying to push towards Shevchenkove, and this is probably, in my opinion, the right tactic. You have to double down on the weak spot and then crash through. And this is something that I'm a bit critical about the Russian forces, which they do not capitalize on their advantage. If you have noticed that, for example, the Lysychansk Severodonetsk situation, they captured the city and then they went on to rest for 2 weeks. For even a month before they restart an offensive. The Ukrainians, you give a full military 2 weeks, they can entrench pretty well, to be honest. And they did not capitalize on the chaos that is happening on the Ukrainian side, and double down and push in, bring in more troops, and hammer these already demoralized forces. No, they just let them rest, let them be rebriefed, regroup, reorganize, recoup the forces, and then they can put up a good defense. And as we can tell, the Donetsk front is holding out very well. The Siversk front is extremely impenetrable, and then Bakhmut front is super resistant. Capturing one Kodema took so long. So but when you look at the Ukrainian side, this looks like something that makes more sense. Where you break the defense, you crash to the back, to the rear in the hard line. So, and another thing is that choosing a weak point to attack seems like a very natural thing, when we talk about war strategy. But somehow the Russians have not been hitting the weak points of the Ukrainian forces. They are very happily holding lines in the Mykolaiv front, in the Khyberey front, Davydiv front. They just hold that line along the river, keeping with the political objective, just to hold that line. They did not follow through with what would be a military objective, which is a complete defeat and routing of the Ukrainian forces. They just hold that line, and then they just be happy with that artillery exchange, which they know that they have the advantage, but they do not have enough forces to actually hold that kind of line. And so far, because of all these signs that the Ukrainians are going to launch a major the Kherson offensive, the Russians have been reinforcing the lines for, I think, a month already or two. There is a lot of rumors and information coming out of forces, Russian forces being sent to the southern front. So the southern front, which is why they managed to hold the Kherson offensive much better. But in this area, they already know that the Ukrainian forces have been gathering at Andriivka, Pryshep, and Husarivka, and in this area to prepare for an offensive against Balakliya. However, the defenses here seems to be so lacking, and I guess that might be something to do with the corruption. It might be something to do with the bureaucracy. Russia is a very, very big country. Their corruption is probably only just slightly better than Ukraine. Ukraine is extremely corrupted, but Russia is not that far away. And with Putin is probably the only thing that is holding Russia together. But Russia is a huge country. As such, they have massive bureaucracy. And if you are following Reiber on Telegram, Reiber criticized this a lot as well. On a pretty frequent basis, they are always criticizing the bureaucracy of the Russian military, the Russian government, and this could be a result of this bureaucracy that is impeding the military, operations, where maybe trying to get more troops in, there are a lot of political no-nos or red tapes, and it could be also because of power struggles probably within the hierarchy that causing insufficient troops or equipment to be sent to a certain area. So the Ukrainians finally found a weak spot and they punched in. The Russians currently managed to hold the Semenivka line, seemingly. I'm not so sure. As far as I can tell, this area seems to hold up at Semenivka, but this push here is a bit vague, of course, in terms of the information that I see. But if this is true, then the Russians are still not getting enough troops and defenses in this region. And we must remember that this area is not entrenched. This is not a defended or fortified region. It's not the same as the forces in the Izium front, where the entire line here is all heavily entrenched and fortified, which is why the front line don't really move much. But this area here is totally just open territory. There is not much defenses. The Ukrainians can attack wherever they want. They have the initiative. The Russians do not have enough forces. So far, I still have not seen indications of the forces in the Shuhuiv area have participated in the battle. In terms of all the arrows that the other mappers have been drawing, is all coming up from the Balakliya side, the Balakliya forces, where they actually draw the line up this way. So this is the situation now in the Balakliya front. And in the summary, I also will be talking about the impending start of the Liman offensive. So Ukrainian forces have captured Brusivka and Ozerny because it's undefended. There's no Russian forces defending there. So recon forces arrive inside, and they basically as good as captured the area. So we might, and they are already reported to have sent recon forces or DRGs, or deep reconnaissance group south of Yampil and south of Liman, which means that these are recon troops, which means they are there to find where are the Russian lines. So we might be seeing the great Liman offensive as well. So stay tuned for that. And so that's okay, then one more information. For the first time in this war, the M270 that was reportedly given to the Ukrainian forces has been spotted, and they are spotted pretty close to the front line. They actually spotted near Balakliya. So the M270 is the tracked version of HIMARS, but they can carry twice the number of ammunition that HIMARS can. They can carry up to 12 missiles or rockets, which means that one single M270 equals to 2 HIMARS, and they are tracked, which means that they can traverse through rough territory, rough terrain much more easily, which means that they are more difficult to hunt for, because they can basically hide anywhere, because they can go through mud and forested area much more easier than the wheeled version of HIMARS. But the wheeled version of HIMARS is faster as long as it's on the road, because it's wheeled. So that's the difference between an M270 and HIMARS. And for the first time, it was spotted in Ukraine's front line, and not sure if it's in action, but it's reportedly near Balakliya. So this is something that is happening there. So that's all for the quick update on the Balakliya front. And so for those that are watching this not live, you can leave the video now. Bye bye. And I will now go to the Q&A with or no, to chat with the live chat. And no super chats, so so I can actually leave anytime. So let's say Shriner, Shriner. So should I just boom? So there's 1,000 of you guys. So thank you so much for watching. So watching here, Shriner say the Boscheva was captured already. There's a video of the Ukraine raising a flag in the town. Where is Boschivka? Boschivka. Oh, I haven't saw this information yet. So, but it's not. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because these Ukrainian forces in this Balakliya Front seems to be a lot more mobile. They are really, doing this mobile warfare that everyone is hyping that the Russians will do, but the Russians did not do. So this might be true. I haven't seen this information though. Estimated losses on either side, no such information, Brune. I haven't really seen that. Hi people, hi Jamie, hi Whip Union. So Ukraine forces are fighting outside of Kupiansk already. Nah, Mida, don't. They are not outside of Mida. I think you read the information wrongly. It's not possible. Hi, handsome daddy. Don't go to my videos. I thank you. I actually go to your videos once. I kind of like. That's a good trap. Niet. Do you think Russia will or can increase its army troops in Ukraine? It really depends on. It really depends on what Putin able to stomach in terms of politically, or in terms of Kupians. Those are not troops. Those are saboteurs. Those are saboteurs, not troops. Those are not the regular troops. They are not. That's not the offensive. The one at Kupians, those are saboteurs. I read that they did some sabotage work, but no, there's Voschans. There's not Kupians. No, I haven't read anything about Kupians. I don't know where you read it. So there's a super chat. So super chat must come first. Destroy the like button. So yes. So everyone, please destroy the like button. Please press the like button. You must press the like button. And Rune Thorson, no, there's no estimate losses on either side. I don't have, and I don't cover that. Has Igor Konashenko done his update yet today? I have no idea who is he. Who is he actually? Because I only know Telegram channels by their Telegram channel name, translated name in fact. So what should Russians do in Ukraine front according to you? To be honest, right? To be honest, there is not a lot the Russians can do now, to be honest, because if you do not have enough troops, you do not have enough troops. That's the reality. But the Russians have a lot of forces in Kursk region, in Belgorod region, and in fact, also in Bryansk region. If you ask me, I will send an invasion toward Kiev. I will send Bryansk, Kursk, Belgorod forces and invade Sumy and Chernihiv. And then I will hit Kiev, go towards Cherkasy. I will capture this entire northern side of the Dnieper River, and I cut off the entire reinforcement route. And they will be able. The defense line here should be weak for the Ukrainians. So that's where I will hit, because as I said just now, the natural thing to do in strategy is to hit the weak points. I do not know why the Russians are just hitting the strong points. Like fighting at Donetsk front here, this is up against the strongest fortifications. And in fact, the same thing goes for the Izium front. They took so long to regroup after the capture of Izium and then of Donetsk, Donetsk and Kayamka. These are the main areas where they are very stuck by the Ukrainian forces at the forested area. After capturing here, they took a very long time to fan out, and they are supposed to take Bavinkove, and they did not take Bavinkove. So and they lost the entire initiative and the momentum. The Ukrainians are able to set up a very strong defensive line, and the Russians until today still cannot break that line. And this is just stupid. So and but that will widen the front line. But that will also mean more forces, right, Puff? So if you send, because those are all other forces that the Russians have that they are not using, they can just smash through and then similarly bring in more forces, because there is no point bringing more Russian forces into this area. You should hit them at where they are weakest. You don't actually go head on, and then if you hit them far enough, threaten Kiev far enough, they will have to stop their offensive. No, they have no choice. They have to stop their offensive, because there's no point capturing this position where you lost your capital. So yeah, so so those actually I should put to live. I don't know why is it in top, sorry. Yeah, so try until success. Hello, bro. North Kharkiv City. What's that? What is this? Don't know. So I highly recommend you guys to play some of these strategy games. Like it can be any strategy game. EU4, AOE2, Europa Universalis 4, Age of Empire 2. The favorite thing I like to do in Europa Universalis is that I'm the weaker force, right? But I will make sure that I will devastate the entire inner land of the enemy, even though they are bigger than me. If their strong army is on the east side, I'll go to the west side and then just smash all the way through, blitz through the entire territory. I just burn everything. So I will just make it as expensive as it is for my enemies. There's no reason to go head on and that you will lose. The situation here is similar. The Russians are not going to be able to bring in enough forces tentatively to head on to these people. You can only defend. You cannot really bring in a force that can actually push them back so easily, unless you withdraw forces from the front, which is something that you do not want to do. So you just hit them on the other places, just smash them. Do another the first month kind of crap. Just smash through everything. And remember, what I mentioned just now is that the Ukrainians actually don't give a damn about civilian casualties when they attack. They just basically fire artillery, and long range shells against the Ukrainian position and the Russian positions, and the Russians can't really do much but to retreat in that sense. So if you want to protect the civilians, it's going to be hard when you are dealing with Mongolian or Mongol horde style of offensive, where they don't really care about who is in the city. They just attack, they just smash everything. It's almost impossible to defend, because you cannot hide inside residential houses, because I cannot be inside a civilian house, that will endanger the civilians, kind of all these things, right? It's just bullcrap, because this is a war, and the Russians are now stuck between ethics and reality. So for those that do not believe that the Russians are so nice, so ethical in terms of protecting the civilians, I just disagree with you lah. Because from what I've seen so far, the Russians are really trying their best. But when we come to a point where you have your enemy is actually on the total war footing, they're just going to smash through everything, and they don't really care about civilian casualties. They're already sending soldiers on suicide missions. So what are a few civilian deaths? So yeah. So like what Puff says, is like blitzkrieg. The Kherson counter offensive is dead. Where do you think those Russian reinforcements go to the front where they don't forget Russians stun? No, the problem is the ton of artillery is not actually in this area. It's not in the Balakliya area, and the Kherson counter offensive is not dead. It's just a lot weaker now. It's a lot weaker. The the Ukrainians try to push all those lines where they think that they can push through, and they actually attack across the entire front line to make sure that the Russians cannot reinforce each other. That did not seem to work out very much. The Ukrainians did capture many settlements, but currently they are stuck. The offensive is still not over, just like we do not say the Donetsk offensive is over. The Donetsk offensive is still ongoing. The Russians are still trying to push the Ukrainian lines, but it's just that they are stuck. They just cannot get through. So the offensive is still ongoing. Games don't take account into geopolitics nor resources or that. May want to go more time, demilitarize entirely. Robot tricks depends on what game you play. So some games are a lot more sophisticated. Some games are just not real. It's just a game. I like EU4 because it's a simplified version of what it is like, and but I think there is more sophisticated games than EU4. I just haven't have time to go and play. Vince Elba. Yeah. Because what else you want to do to learn about military strategy? Do you think you can get into centers? I don't think you can get into centers, right? How old are you already? So I've been through military I'm a regular soldier for 6 years. So at least I have 6 years of military experience. I doubt most of you have 6 years. So it was said that the Balakliya area was only defended by 3 PDG. Yeah, that could be true. Seeing how fast the entire line collapsed. I'm not going to let this stream run for too long. 3 more minutes. So you want to catch my attention, do a super chat. If not, I will just randomly read comments. Russia lost Balakliya, time to deploy tactical news. Nah, the Russians, Balakliya is not important enough for them to use tactical news. EU4 gamers rise up, yay! Clausewitz, would that be a start? Clausewitz is who? I know there's a YouTube channel called Clausewitz or something. I have 30 years experience of hearing mainstream narrative bullshit. Nah, tell me about it. Me too. I'm not that young, you know. Big Winnie is preparing a stream about using counter offensive. If anything a bit. I actually know him very well. We actually have a WhatsApp group, so I actually talk to him. But I don't really have time to watch other people's channels. So sometimes I don't really know what other people is talking about. Like History Legend is a very good friend of mine. I don't really have time to actually watch his videos. I only watch a few because when I have free time, I don't want to watch anything about Ukraine war. It's very boring. I really spend hours every day to read the sources. Whatever they know, actually I've already seen it before. It's just that we interpret the information differently. For example, just like Ryber is such a venerable analyst or source or team. They say that the Russian lines should fall to here. I don't even think that is the solution. I don't think there's a solution to this part. So in fact, I have no idea what the Russians can do, to be honest. The front line is just way too long for them. So which is why I say the only solution is to fight in another front and force the Ukrainians to rethink whether they can continue to deploy so much troops into this area. Malcolm Borgil, hello, thanks for the super chat. Do you think it's Ukraine's last grasp that they're sending all the Europe equipment to the front? This is actually very interesting. I was just talking to one of my Discord member on private message. So I was telling him that this actually reminds me of Operation Citadel. The Nazi German forces operation at the beginning of the Battle of Kursk. So in the Battle of Kursk, it started off with the Germans launching this offensive, trying to capture certain ground, and then it's like the very last major offensive that the German forces are able to conjure before the series of just collapse across the entire front line, and they just continue to keep losing and keep losing and keep losing, because they are that is the last very in fact that is the part where they actually lost the Battle of Kursk, and then they actually lost the entire war. So the Ardents is just a desperate offensive. That offensive can't go anywhere. They are already at the verge of dying. So they are at the verge of losing the entire war already. So that was the very last offensive. But I think the Kursk one was really the final one. Like, if they succeed, they would really make their position much better. But they did not succeed, and that's why the whole thing just went to collapse. I believe this is something similar to that, where they still have the fighting power, the Ukrainians. They still have sufficient fighting power at this moment. But if this offensive, this Balakliya offensive, coupled with the Kherson offensive, coupled with the probably coming Liman offensive, if they are unable to cut off the supply route, at Kupiansk, to cut off, even only the Kupiansk, just cut off the roads here, and then just drive through, just cut off all this supply route, and force a withdrawal from the fronts in Izium and in Liman region. If they can't do that, then it's going to be disastrous for the Ukrainian forces, because this seems like the final push that they can probably do. Just like Kherson, the Great Kherson offensive is also one of those where I felt that this is that final push for the Southern Front. I don't think if they are unable to do it this time round, it's very hard to imagine them having a second win. So Nate say that I just wanted to say I appreciate the effort you put into the Ukraine updates. I like looking at your interactive map on their website. Thank you so much, Nate. I think you are Burmese, right? Nate sounds like a Burmese name. So Mingalapa. So I forgot how to say thank you. I remember I'll say thank you in Burmese. So that guy is a clown. Who's the guy? So Ukrainian forces kept controlling Shevchenkove. Fighting beginnings in Kupiansk, according to Ukrainian Russian sources. I don't know. No, to be honest, the last time I checked the sources is around an hour ago. So if the information come out within this last hour, there's nothing I can do about it, because the next video I'm gonna do, I will be recording after this stream, will be actually the summary, the sit rep for the 7th of September. So 7th of September is not going to be it's not going to be 8th September summary. So I have to put a point where I have to stop the coverage in terms of my updates, and then leave all this all this Kupiansk information for tomorrow. If not, then it's not possible. Is it right for the Russians to start the offensive in Uleda, Mykolaiv, or perhaps Zaporizhia? Actually, right, I'm not even sure if they are able to do an offensive in Zaporizhia and succeed. Vuleda and Mykolaiv is literally impossible, because the Ukrainians, there's still too much Ukrainian troops over there. It's just a waste of their troops if they try to fight there. Like I said, the best is still the Northern Front. And there's a very interesting information. I think I will just share with you later in the sit rep. Okay, I just tell you now lah. Just tell you now, since you are here, since you are so nice, you are here. The Belarus, right, had announced an exercise across the entire Ukraine border. So, and this exercise is supposed to last for around a week or plus. So, but it's across the entire Ukrainian border. It's near to the border, not at the border, but who knows? Because the situation now is that the Russians is running out of options, and there might be a case where they are asking the Belarusian to do something to distract the Ukrainians, because if Belarus do invade, then the Ukrainian forces over there is too not enough to actually probably defend against a full-fledged offensive from Belarus. But it could be just a fake, because Belarus don't really want to go to war. So it could be just they're asking Belarus to do something to to kind of like distract and try to divert attention from the Ukrainians. It could be something like this. So So what else do I need to read? So anyway, it's 45 minutes already, so it's been quite some time, and I just want to thank you guys for watching this live, and I will see you later in maybe in 1 hour's time, I guess, for the summary. It will take some time to record and then to upload and then wait for YouTube to process the video. And thank you for the super chats from Jay, Melkor, and Niet. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it a lot. And for the Ukrainians, I'm sure you are going to have very good nights lately, these few days, since there's a lot of good news for the pro-Russian side. Don't be too sad, because in the long run, I don't think Ukraine can win the war, at least not yet. So anyway, unless there's something changed, just like I thought the Ukrainian would not be able to do a serious offensive, but they still managed to do it. So I can be wrong. So anyway, thank you everyone, and I will see you in the next update. And do help to share, because this channel is heavily besieged by the shadow banning unit. There's literally nothing much I can do about growing the channel. It's very hard to grow the channel now because I'm totally on a different algorithm. So anyway, and I will put you into the outro, and I'll see you at the summary, and see you in the next update.
Defense Politics Asia is a Singapore-based geopolitical and defense news media cum think tank focusing on Asia from an Asian perspective. We try to provide insights on complicated issues and cast spotlights on underreported stories to give a voice to those that would otherwise not be heard. You can find out more geopolitical and military news, as well as in-depth opinions and analysis on www.defensepoliticsasia.com. To support our work, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel here, or you can become a patron on our Patreon at patreon.com/defensepoliticsasia and get access to exclusive content while be a part of the people that shapes the future of this unique platform. Please remember to press the like button and subscribe to our channel.